Hi Reddit Recapped here. Today we are going to tell you a collection of stories titled What are the most hurtful things your parents have ever told you? Enjoy our community's stories, as always stay safe, and take care. I played in a cover band in high school. We did a few originals but not many. At that age my passion was to become a studio guitar player, and my parents knew this. Our high school decided to host a battle of the bands one weekend. We had about 10 bands sign up from the local area, and there were probably about 2,000 people in the audience. We practiced for months for this. Every spare moment we had was spent on practicing. We were fourth in line to play. We played our set and went back into the audience to watch the other bands. We weren't the best band, but we were pretty good. There were definitely better bands there. Well, after the last band played we were standing there waiting to find out who won. The award wasn't anything major, just some cash and bragging rights. Wouldn't you know it? We won. My heart was in my throat. I was so excited and happy. All of my friends were there telling me how great we were. I forgot to mention that my parents were there, along with the parents of the other members of my band. While my bandmates are getting hugs and congratulations from their parents, I go and see mine. My mom had stepped away, I forget for what, so it's just my dad. I'll never forget what he said to me that night. "When are you going to start playing real music?" I was devastated. All of that excitement was gone. All of my friends were telling me how awesome we were, and that we rocked the house, but when my dad told me that, it was like the world had ended. I went home and cried myself to sleep that night while all of my friends were out celebrating. I never told my dad how much that hurt me. After that I decided that I didn't want to pursue a music career anymore. Sometimes I look back and think what could have been if I had. I was a chubby kid, and I didn't start losing until I was a preteen. My mother, who grew up in a different time and country where the majority of the kids were a lot thinner than they are now, used to make a lot of fat jokes about me even when I started losing. She would say stuff like I was too big to get through the door, and when I ran downstairs for school she would joke and say that I sound like a galloping horse because I used to be so heavy. This of course pushed me to lose more and more weight until my school started to notice my drastic weight loss, where I started to become borderline anorexic by the age of 13 to 14. As I got closer to 15 years old, I became so thin that I couldn't stop myself from going lower. I wanted some parental support from my mother, so I confronted her about my eating disorder. She just looked at me and said, "So are you having lunch today or not?" My father let me know exactly where I stood from a young age. He complained to my mother in front of me that us kids were nothing more than motherfucking parasites to him. He frequently told me that I was a worthless little shit who would never do anything or be anything. I grew up knowing that my dad referred to me as a little shithead, and that I was nothing more than an annoying burden who asked too many questions and talked too much. I was told I was worthless, that no one would ever love me, and that it would be entirely my fault, that I would live and die completely alone because I was horrible. The worst was when he told my brother and I that we couldn't be human without ADD medication. He literally put it as "make you human," and then told me he'd make me sleep outside in the dirt like a dog because I wasn't human. My parents always ask me why I don't wear makeup, because I would look pretty with it. They tell me I should wear my contacts instead of my glasses, and wear padded bras. I never seem to be good enough. Not good enough grades. I'm a 3.5 average student, but I don't get straight A's, despite my brother being a C student, and not athletic enough, even though I was on the tennis and swim team in high school. In elementary school I had gotten a C on a test, and was hit with a stick for not doing better. I already have fairly low self-confidence. In middle school I was extremely depressed. I even contemplated suicide. I basically planned out how and when I would do it. I'm still not sure why I didn't follow through. One night I was crying and my mom noticed and asked what was wrong. I talked to her and told her I was thinking about myself. When I told her why, the only thing she said was, "That's a stupid reason." It made me feel a lot worse. They didn't like my boyfriend for a long time because he wasn't interested in becoming best friends with my brother. They said I should get back together with my ex, who cheated on me and treated me horribly, because he was nice to my brother. I was pretty much emotionally abused, sometimes physically. I threatened to call the cops once when I felt physically threatened, and I was told that they would never believe me, and I have no evidence that I was abused, because I never had any broken bones and didn't have any bruises. This marks the end of the collection of stories titled "What are the most hurtful things your parents have ever told you?" I hope you enjoyed this video. Like and subscribe to see more videos like this. Turn on your notifications and leave a comment to help the channel grow.